A couple days ago, I was at Harbor Freight and I came across a deal that I simply couldn't pass up. Now, for those of you that don't watch the channel regularly, what we do here more than anything is work on these crazy vehicles that you see behind me. Whether we're working on the Rubicon 392, the Camaro, or even the Bronco Raptor, it seems like we're always tied up in the garage. Now, in watching the channel, you guys have noticed I've always worked out of tool bags and boxes. For me, that's just what I'm used to. It's really simple to transport all of my bags and boxes in cars, because I keep a lot in my vehicles all the time. These three stay in the Rubicon 392, that stays in the Camaro, and these three stay in the Bronco Raptor. So they are super convenient whenever you're out on the trail. And a lot of times, instead of going to my other toolkits that I do have, I will go to these toolkits, fish them out of the vehicle to do any of the work or repairs at home. And it is super annoying. But I finally got to the point where I'm spending so much time in the garage that it does make sense to go ahead and get a toolbox or cart. So whenever the US General 5-drawer tool cart came up for sale at $189, I decided it was a deal that I couldn't afford to pass up. Now, before I show you everything about this toolbox and how I've got it laid out, first let me give you a walkthrough of the garage. That way the organization and the layout of the tool cart will make a little bit more sense. Aside from the tools that I keep inside the vehicles, I also keep my other tools on this rack system. I used to have a rack system on the other side of the garage as well. And then for most of the power tools, I have a power wall right here, so we do keep all the power tools right there. I really just have a lot of the basics. I've got some Cobalt air tools like that ratchet, 3/8 ratchet, and then I've got another 3/8 ratchet impact gun. We've got Cobalt drills, other impacts, the 1/2-inch impact that I use more than anything else, some Milwaukee tools as well, some drills, different impact, got some different angle grinders, got some cutoff tools, pneumatic cutoff tools, some old school electric power tools. Then I do keep like the leaf blower in here, all the other lawn care equipment I try to keep in the other garage, pressure washer, Sawzall, just the basics. But a lot of the stuff that I use is Cobalt and just sprinkle in a little bit of Milwaukee. I'm trying to get a little bit more of that stuff. Oh my goodness, you're super strong. Yeah. I keep all of my jack stands down here on the bottom. And then for my chargers, I keep all of the chargers up here on this rack system. It works really well. It's been a really good system. And then aside from that, I do keep all of my floor jacks in the corner right here, easy to get to because unfortunately I have to use these things all the time. Keep the bottle jacks over there too. And then aside from all that, I do keep the air compressor back here in the back in the middle of both the vehicles. It makes it really easy to get whatever I need done. So first of all, with this US General 5-drawer cart, I've been super impressed already. I've only been working out of it for about 2 weeks. I wanted to give it a little bit of time to test it out before we made this video and really get a good feel for what organization I like. Some of the best features just to note are, of course, the color. It just so happens to match the Rubicon 392 almost perfectly. But aside from that, we do have the casters on the bottom here. These wheels actually rotate. That side doesn't yet. You can make that change really easily if you want to. And then it does have the tray system on the side. I keep my WD-40 brake cleaner, some gloves, some blue towels, microfiber, and a torch just because it's a convenient place. But now that we've covered that, let's go ahead and get to one of the main sections of this cart. Now, I'm going to be honest, you guys are going to notice a trend here with all of my tools and equipment. A lot of the stuff I've amassed over the years, and I used to go out and buy individual sockets depending on what I needed to work on. So I've got a mix of a bunch of different brands. One thing I will say from the beginning, I've tried to get a lot of stuff that has the lifetime warranty or guarantee. So there are a ton of different brands that offer that at different levels. But for the organization and what we've got here, I got most of the organization stuff from Harbor Freight or just cheap stuff that I found at random stores over the past couple years. And I would keep a lot of this stuff in toolboxes, but now having a cart, it makes it so much easier. So just to start here, I've got a bunch of extra impact rated 1/2-inch drive sockets in the back. I've got my axle nut sockets here for the different vehicles that I own. And then for the very back right here, this is going to be a metric set of impact rated sockets. So these are pretty much all going to be Pittsburgh. Got these a while ago. They've done really good. I have a few sets of them now, so I carry them in different vehicles. And then we've got our chrome sockets here for our metric. Some of these are deep well just because they're the most common that I use for deep well. Going beyond that, we've got a set of Cobalt, I believe, standard impact sockets. Now, for these, they work really well. This was the first set of impact sockets that I got whenever I got power tools years ago. So they have really stood up to the test of time, and I've used them on almost everything. I've used these a lot on Jeep Wranglers, and they've served me really well. I've had no issues with them at all. Moving beyond that, we've got our standard chrome set. These are going to be a mix of different brands. So I've got everything from an old Husky socket there down to Pittsburgh. And then these are a different brand. I think these are Job Smart or something like that. And then this is Pittsburgh at the end too. But a weird mix of different sockets that have all worked really well. Moving beyond that, we've got 3/8 drive. These are standard impact rated sockets for the 3/8 drive. All of these are Hart. I picked them up at Walmart years ago, and they've actually worked really good. I've had no issues with them at all. And then I don't have all the sizes here. A lot of these organizers have just really weird sizes that most kits don't get, and just sizes I haven't needed yet. But moving beyond that, these at the bottom are probably Job Smart if they don't have a name on it. And then the rest down here are Pittsburgh for the 3/8 chrome. Then for the 3/8 metric here, these are mostly going to be Pittsburgh for the deep well, and probably Pittsburgh for the shallow. Then I do have a couple 12 points left from Cobalt. Now I've really tried to phase out most of the 12 points because a lot of the old sets that I had, they did have 12 points in all the kits, but sometimes they come in handy, so I do keep a different set of 3/8 metric 12 points over here, just a bunch of different sizes that I do use pretty commonly. But then moving on from that, we've got our 1/4 inch stuff. So these are standard, these are metric, obviously same brands you've seen in the other stuff. And then I do have some 3/8 universal metric. So these are just different sizes, and these are 1/4 inch metric universal joints with the sockets already in them. These are super convenient. I think they're actually from a brand called Duralast that has a lifetime guarantee on them too, but I haven't used these a ton. And then after that, these are going to be all of my 1/2 inch drive torque bits, universal joints, and then adapters for 1/2 inch drive. And then these are the basically the same similar setup for 3/8 drive. So I've got my different universal joints, impact rated and standard, different adapters. Got a 10mm that holds like all these different little bits if you need to put it in a different one. Then a hex key set for 3/8 that goes all the way down there. Then on this side, this is going to be 1/4 inch stuff. Or actually, these are 3/8 T-bits as well. We use those a lot on the Jeep. Then that starts the 1/4 inch stuff, so impact rated, universal joints, so on and so forth, going down to normal T-bits, smaller T-bits, screwdriver bits for Phillips and flatheads. Then aside from that, I've got my 3/8 extensions right here that I use pretty commonly. Got the 1/4 inch extensions and the 1/2 inch extensions. I really just keep impact rated 1/2 inch extensions in here because that's what I'm using it for most, especially for wheels and stuff like on the 392. And then I keep a little nut driver. It's a 1/4 inch nut driver with a 10mm on it. This is super handy. This is like a life hack, time saver for sure, just to have that ready to go at all times. And to be fair, a lot of the stuff that I carry in my Bronco and my Jeep Wrangler are the exact same brands as the stuff that I have in here. I just have multiples of each. If you guys have watched those toolkit challenges in past videos, they have done really well. If you've seen them, you've seen the kind of stuff that I buy. I try to buy cheaper stuff just because, you know, I'm not doing this for a living, but I kind of am at this point. I just need good stuff that's going to work for a good price. Then on the side here, I've got everything from normal screwdrivers to these little pry tools that work really well for trim or fasteners, anything like that. This is a Cobalt set of screwdrivers that I've had for a long time. I've actually got a couple sets. They work great. On this side, I've got a little bit of a different setup. These are 2 nut driver tools, the most common sizes that I use on the Jeep. These are just super convenient to grab and go over to the Jeep with. And then I've got some Klein screwdrivers there, some T-bits, T-bit screwdrivers, a really long flathead screwdriver for those hard to reach places or if I drop something. Then some precision screwdrivers in the back. And then also with this setup here, you're able to put some pretty long stuff in the sides here. So this is a 25-inch long 1/2 inch breaker bar from Pittsburgh probably. But this is actually a really good breaker bar. It's worked on everything I've needed so far. And it does have the lifetime warranty on it too. And then for the top here, I don't have any magnet setups for wrenches or nuts or bolts or anything like that. I have looked into them. I think it would be good for some of your most used tools to throw up there on the top with a magnet. Just don't have any yet. And then in the back, I keep an assortment of lots that I like to grab, just all kinds of different brands. And this little lot here to light up the tools here if we need it. But before I show you what's in the next drawer, I've got to introduce you to today's video sponsor, Anana. Now this company makes some pretty awesome security systems, and they ended up being super helpful for me. Just here recently, I ended up having an incident where my Camaro was actually broken into overnight, and this is not the first time that it's happened. So I didn't have any cameras set up in that area, so I couldn't really tell what was going on. And this ended up being the perfect solution to be able to watch over the garage, the whole driveway, and the car every night and every day. Now this camera has a ton of different features, but it records in 4K UHD and has color night vision. It also is a little different because it has a solar panel. You can use lifetime solar power, and you get access to 24/7 always on video recording. To go with that, it's got 32 gigabytes worth of storage, and it even has two-way audio. The install process could not have been any simpler. It's a plug and play setup, and I was really surprised by how easy it was compared to other cameras I've had in the past. Aside from that, the first day I got to test out the IP67 waterproof rating because we had a crazy storm come through, and it did perfectly fine even with the tornado winds. Now one thing I didn't expect was to be able to capture awesome and special moments just like this.
Oh, it's crazy.
So not only is it going to give us the ability to make sure we have that extra layer of security, but it's also going to capture moments that you don't have your phone out for and maybe you want to save. You can tell the nighttime recording is just as clear as day because it does have color night vision, but my absolute favorite feature is the 24/7 always on recording. Of course, it has other features like siren, spotlight, human vehicle package, and pet detection. It's got every feature you want and an awesome app. So if you want one, go down in the link in the description below and check them out. So a huge thank you to Anana for sending out this awesome product for us to test out and for making this video possible. Now, moving past that, in this top drawer right here, it's where I keep almost all of my ratchets. And in the back, I do keep all of my extra bits and nut drivers. Keep a little tool for that, ratcheting tool from Cobalt, and then some stubby screwdrivers. Then obviously, I keep really all my ratchets in here aside from the ones I keep in the different vehicles. But this is a Pittsburgh that came with a kit. This is a Job Smart that came with a kit, 1/2 inch. This is a Cobalt. So what you're going to notice here is the ones turned upside down on the bottom here are going to be my most commonly used. So this is just a Cobalt 90 tooth that came with a toolkit that I got years ago. And it's actually a really good wrench. It's worked great so far. And then I've also got some old stuff like the Craftsman in this drawer too, just because it's a big and robust ratchet. It works good and you can put a lot of torque on it and a cheater bar really easily. Then we got a 3/8 with that comfort grip from Pittsburgh. The gearing, you can hear it here. Once you go down to the 3/8, even these cheapo Pittsburghs actually feel fine. They work okay, and I haven't had any major issues with them. Then this is like a Job Smart out of a kit. And then this is another Cobalt. This is the 3/8 drive right here. This is a 3/8 drive from Power Torque. I got a lot of their stuff whenever I used to work at O'Reilly's. It's actually decent stuff. No issues with it. And I've actually never had any of their ratchets, sockets, or anything fail. So I've had good luck with them. That's another go-to right there. And then moving down to 1/4 inch, we've got Cobalt's little 1/4 inch ratchet there. Then all the other brands 1/4 inch. Also keep a little Jeep tool in here. This is really convenient if I'm going to be using any of those, those bits up there or any of the Jeep Torx bits. Then I've got my super tiny Craftsman, really flat 1/4 inch to get into those tight to reach places. In the back here, these are just randoms. These are actually Pittsburgh. They're the flex head right here and stubby, so they are convenient if you're in a tough to reach place. Haven't used them that much, but whenever you do need them, they are super handy. Got the whole set here actually with a lifetime warranty, 1/2 inch, 3/8, and 1/4 inch for like $10. So can't beat that. And they do actually work decent. Haven't used them for like putting a ton of torque on anything, but they work. And then these were just in a bin at Tractor Supply. They're double headed, so you got 3/8 on this side, 1/2 inch on that side, a little stubby. And really have not used these any, but it's nice if you're working in 3/8 stuff or you're working in 1/2 inch to take one of these over. If you need a different socket, you can just grab it. Don't really have to look at what size it is. Same thing for this 1/4 inch and 3/8. These were only like $10 too, so I just couldn't pass them up. But that's pretty much it for the ratchets. And then the drawer underneath that is where I keep most of my pliers. So got the normal channel locks there, just some standard pliers. Got some wire cutters, another set of pliers with cutters. Got needle nose. A lot of these I got from Cobalt in a kit. They work really good. Probably the best tool from Iron Ton is these. You can use them as wire strippers or needle nose and crimpers. It's a really good electrical tool. I think these have came in handy a lot, and I actually like the grip on them. Then aside from that, just got some Pittsburgh vice grips. Got a Doyle V-Jaw channel lock. These actually work really good. And then some metal cutters. Got some shears up here and an automatic wire stripper. Actually works really good. And then an old school Cobalt wire stripper there. Then I've got some of the precision pliers from Husky. These, I mean, I've used these a ton and they work really good. They came in a nice case too, but obviously now I don't need that case. Ton of different stuff for a really good price. Got some tiny vice grips, which are good when you need them. Don't need them much, but I mean, I think I got this little set for like $4. So for that, you can't afford not to have them. And then some Craftsman Robo grips. So just the basic assortment of pliers that you'll need on just any type of job. But these are pretty much all of my go-tos here. Don't really need anything more than that for now. And then in this drawer, I really did not want to have a junk drawer, but I had a lot of stuff that I just could not find a good place for. So for this, I keep one of my extra Jeep toolkits there because I'm always taking the doors off and stuff like that. Keep a cheapo tape measure in there. Got an automatic punch, tire pressure gauge, all kinds of Allen keys, different sizes, different lengths, glass cutters, and then a T50 or T55 on a T-handle, which is really convenient sometimes. Got some safety glasses. Underneath those, I've got a pocket level, got a bunch of trim tools, and then some really super cheap picks that are handy if you absolutely have to use them. Got some Teflon tape, 3M, tiny zip ties. Got the Allen key sets that are on, I don't even know what to call them. Little Allen key sets, tiny ones there. And then the star bit, T-bit set, which is really convenient if you don't know what size. You can just grab this, walk over to it. You can figure out what size it is, or you can just use that as long as you're not putting way too much torque on it. Those work just fine. Then past that, I've got just a set of gloves that I use almost all the time now. Then I've got some electrical tape there. Then I keep some extra stuff. So for this is just a Cobalt set that I have that has a lot of drill bits in it. And I basically used this for a while for anything to do with my little impacts too. So I have all the different adapters there for the different size heads. Then I keep all the different step bits in here, just a convenient place to keep them. And this is a specific bit I have to use on the Jeep for most of the metal cloak stuff. But this is a really convenient box and a way to store everything, and I know where it's at. Got all my screwdriver bit set right there. And then these are just impact rated sets, so super convenient whenever you are using the impact. You really don't have to worry about stripping any of them down. They work pretty well, they're pretty tough. Down here is where I keep most of my combo wrenches. So with these wrenches, it's just a really simple layout. I've got ratcheting standard wrenches over here, ratcheting metric wrenches, got just normal combo wrenches that are metric here from Pittsburgh. Now, all of these have a lifetime warranty. Even these do, they're job smart. These have the switch on them, so I can change the direction. These do not, and they're straight, but I mean, they work really good. And then I recently picked these up. I can't even remember what brand they are. Maybe Iron Ton or something like that. But these have got different sizes on each side. I really just wanted to get a 19 and 21 ratcheting by themselves, but these were only like $22, so we'll see how they work. They seem to be decent, and really I just needed these sizes because of what I do with the Jeep. All of the tie bars and the drag link bars, all of them use 21. So that'll be super convenient and come in handy. For the price, you just about can't beat it. These are gonna be just a bunch of standard combination wrenches I don't use very often. Then a little pry tool that makes it easy to change out tires on stuff like that bike. And then I've got my crescent wrenches back here, all the different sizes. Most of them are Cobalt, some of them are just a random brand. And then I've got these super tiny combination wrenches right there that I never really use, but if I need to, they'll be pretty handy. And then some super short ones from Cobalt out of a kit. But all this stuff works really well, surprisingly. And the layout on this side, I really like. The layout on this side is not very organized, but I'll try to find a solution to make it a little bit more organized. But I honestly don't use this stuff right here very often. I do use the crescent wrenches and all these a lot, so it's nice to keep up with them. But for these, I really just don't use them that much. Now, one thing I failed to mention so far is these do come with these little pull tabs from Harbor Freight or US General that you have to use to pull and open them. But I removed those because these have so much tension on them that you don't really need it, and you push them back into place and it locks. So you'll see right here, you have to pull past that. And then whenever you push them back in, you can leave them right here where you can just pull them out easy. Or whenever you're done, push it in a little bit farther and it locks it into place. That works really well for me. And of course, whenever you shut the hood here, then all of it's locked in anyway. So got rid of those, and I really like that a lot better. Then for our big drawer in the bottom here, it's just where I keep the stuff that's too big to fit in any other drawer. Keep all my different hammers. I got a bunch of different sand mallets, dead blow hammers, a bunch of different brands. They all work pretty decent. Got some rubber mallets as well, and then some brass tip dead blows. This is like a ball peen hammer style of dead blow, which I really like. That's convenient. And then this is a Doyle 3-pound little hammer. I mean, this thing, if you hit something with this, usually that is enough persuasion. Haven't needed any more than that yet. And if I do, I reach over to the 13-pound sledgehammer. This is a breach and entry tool from Gerber, but it works really well for automotive applications. It's even got a pickle fork on the end there, but I've really just used this to open car doors and stuff like that for different situations. It's great to have out on the trail, because if you smash your door into a tree or something like that and can't open it up. Moving on beyond that stuff, I've got another rubber mallet, got some traditional hammers, Cobalt, and a really tiny one. Then I keep my 1/2-inch torque wrench. This is another thing I got at O'Reilly's from Power Torque. I think it's Power Torque, but it's worked really well. Haven't had any issues with it yet, and it's pretty well calibrated. I mean, I don't know how these could come uncalibrated, but it goes up to, I think, 150 foot-pounds. So that's all I've really needed so far. Then I've got some extra pry bars back here, medium, and then an extra medium Pittsburgh plier or pry bar. These work really well. I don't know how much better a pry bar can be. I'm sure you can break them at some point, but I haven't yet. And then I do keep a pickle fork there. This is a really good tool for changing tie rod ends and stuff like that. Been super helpful over the past couple weeks. And then a huge set of channel locks from JobSmart. These were $10. I've never needed them, but I was like, if I ever do need them for $10, it is worth it. Then just some basic C-clamps there for brake jobs, stuff like that. Got a super cheap set of extra drill bits. This is just convenient because it pretty much covers every size. Whatever size you need, you pretty much got it in there for the most part. Under that, I keep most of my white pens, marker pens. I got my touch-up paint in there. Got some extra Loctite, normal pens, some extra razor blades. And then right here, I try to keep most of my punches in here, along with some extra drill bits and extractors there in the back, but mostly punches in there. And then a specific sanding tool or file. After I do drill out holes, that file is pretty handy for most of them. And then on the side here, kind of hard to see, I keep extra files, just traditional long files. These are super old, but they still work, so I replace them. I've got 3 different ones there with a handle. And then that's pretty much it for this drawer. The organization on this drawer is kind of hard to do any better for the size of the tools that are in here. But I think for what it is, I've still got room to put other stuff in it, which is really convenient. So I still have room to put some extra stuff in this box. Some of the drawers I don't have any extra room, but some of them I do. And then moving on to the side here, you do have these little, slots that you can store some extra stuff. So just the stuff that's too big, like the big pry bar there from Pittsburgh. I keep my lockout kit right here too. Just these lockout kits, if you don't have one, is super helpful. Got the little airbag in it, got all the wedges, Slim Jims, different hooks. I mean, it's everything you need to get into a vehicle that you're locked out of. Then an old school flat pry bar there. Moving on to the bottom here, just keep some of the basics. So I've got that last fit jump starter that, I mean, it'll jump off 20 vehicles before you need to recharge it. Awesome jump starter. I keep an extension in the back, just an old traditional wind up extension. Then I do keep a little electrical bag right here for some of the basic stuff that I need to do. So this is just zip ties, got an extra set of gloves, got a level, got some extra black tape in there, got different voltage meters, multimeter, TPMS relearn device, then a stud finder that'll tell you if there's live wires behind it or if there's metal. So just some basic stuff. I really don't do a ton of electrical stuff. I mean, like in-depth electrical stuff. So for what I do, this amount of stuff is just fine. Then the next thing I have is just a toolbox. I keep extra nuts and bolts and washers in. So with working on these Jeeps all the time, I always need some random bolt, and I've amassed a collection. Pretty much every size that we need at this point. And then I've got all the nuts, the washers, and I try to keep everything as separated as I can. But you know how that goes. Really convenient to have these on the cart though, because I'm always needing something. And then I do keep some extra screws and stuff in this one. I don't really use screws that much, but screws and nails are in that. And then I do have a set of limiting extensions from OMT. These are super convenient whenever you don't want to whip out a torque wrench, because I mean, you can use these and essentially they vibrate at a certain frequency that won't let it tighten anymore once you get to the desired torque. So you can see here 140 foot-pounds of torque, 150. It tells you the foot-pounds of torque and the Newton meters, so it's really handy, and I like how they're all different colors. Makes it really easy. Another US General find you guys should definitely know about has got to be their little EDC toolbox. It works perfectly for all the stuff that I need to keep organized. You can throw all your knives in there and stuff. And then even better on the bottom, it's quite a bit bigger, so you can throw whatever you need in here. But this is a super cool way to clean up, wherever you do keep your keys and stuff, simply because, I mean, it's the absolute perfect size to keep everything you need together. But that basically wraps up my setup here for the US General 5-drawer tool cart. I think for $189, this is an unbeatable deal. I mean, it's super, super convenient to use. And I do think for the most part, it's gonna hold everything I need. I will say that whenever I got done putting it together, I realized I forgot those extra support brackets in there. So all 4 corners don't have that, but it doesn't seem like it absolutely needs it. So I guess it'll be fine, but that is something I forgot to install in this box. But like I say, it seems like it'll hold just about everything that I need it to for my normal day-to-day use stuff. A lot of my specialty stuff is still gonna stay in the back or in the closet in the vehicle. So this holds a lot of stuff, and for the price, I don't think you can beat it. If you guys do have any suggestions of other things I should be adding into this toolbox, especially working on a lot of 4-wheel drive vehicles, then let me know down in the comments below. If you're interested in these kind of videos, let me know. I'd like to make more. Got plenty of other tools and equipment to go over with you guys. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. But until then, Godspeed.